Ali here at MindWaveMeditation.com, and today we're going to talk about how to deal with those toxic people, with those people that come in and out of your life and they try and latch onto you like a leech or something that pulls you down just as you're kind of climbing up. They're kind of pulling you down. Why are they doing it? How do we get rid of them? And how do we live a life and kind of dodge these toxic people along the way so we can get to where we want to get to, which is ultimately right here, right now, but living a life of freedom from these lower vibrational beings that are the leeches of humanity. So stick around and join me on the other side for this video. Oh, totally messed up. Alright, so what are toxic people? Let's just break it down. A toxic person is someone in your life, for whatever reason, is making things shit. They're making things awkward. They're making things difficult. They're a constant. It's a constant energy pull. Every time you speak to them, you're coming from here to, and it makes you feel bad when you leave the conversation, and then like a domino effect, your actions and your thoughts are basically wrapped up in their dialogue, and it's a knock-on effect. So let's just first of all break down who these people are in your life before we move on. So first of all, let's break this down to a three-step thing. You know me, I love a three-step. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. 3 is a magic number. It's easy for me to remember, first of all, and it's easy for you to remember too. So we can actually use these things and put them into practical steps so you can gauge them and see if they work for you. So the toxic people in your life are going to be either your family or people in your family, your friends, or work colleagues. Anything else we can kind of figure out and handle. I say that because I can't think of what other things they would be. Comment down below if I've missed a category there. But number one, family. Nah. When I'm dealing with clients and students, this comes up more than anything I can possibly think of. Apart from anxiety and depression, family is the biggest one. Why? Because we're stuck with them. We're all completely different people in most cases, from all different walks of life. You know, our parents are from a different world to the one that we're in. Our cousins are from a whole different place and were brought up differently. Our grandparents are from a completely different planet. We're all come together and it's like, go make that work. Oh, and then go and live in the house together, or go and be together at this gathering and try and force this kind of thing. Luckily for me, I've got a lovely family and we all kind of, you know, we can do this and it's good and we enjoy it. And yeah, there's points where we don't get on and we have debates and whatnot, but it's ultimately we're harmonious. So that's what I'm super grateful for. But there's always one. There's always that Uncle Knobhead, or, you know, the really difficult older brother or younger sister, older sister, whatever. There's always one that likes to just, you know, light the fires. So what do we do when it's family and we can't, you know, just ignore them? They're there. What we do is we decide, first of all, how often are we seeing these people? Now just go with me for a second. Go with me? Where are we going? Stay with me for a second. If your uncle is a bit of a douche or whatever, whichever family, insert family member now, if that person is in your life and they're really, really infuriating, you can't do anything with them, they're just what it is. You're not going to spend your energy trying to change them. You've tried, you always get burnt, you fail. What you can do is you can mentally cut them out. Think about it. How often do you have to see this person? Is it just at the family gatherings? Is it, how many times a year are you seeing this person? Really, really think about it. And then what you do is you kind of like sum that up and go, okay, how much time am I actually seeing this person? And you chop it up into the exact amount that it is. If you see this person a few times a year, then you can afford to let the story of that person go. Delete them from your story. When you see that person, just deal with it. Just turn off all the thoughts that you want to say, because you know where it goes. This person is a brick wall. Doesn't matter. If you see them regularly, try these different types of methods that I'll share with you here. Like, put all the attention on them. People that are generally low vibrational beings, let's call them, narcissistic, egotistic, a little bit psychopathic, I don't know. There's all these different types of family members that are really, really difficult to deal with. Here's a trick: put all the attention on them. Ask them about how they are, what's going on. Just be inquisitive, be curious, put all of the attention on them. What most of the time you're probably annoyed about is that they have no interest in you whatsoever. They're no interest in what you do, what your life is like, the things you've been doing or achieving. It's all about them. And the fight normally happens when you're trying to put the attention on you or someone else that isn't just about them. And it always comes back to them, so you get infuriated. That's one example of what happens a lot, is we want love and attention from these people that can't seem to find empathy or compassion, and it drives us up the wall. So here's a trick: put all the attention on them. It's the point where you feel like you can't do it anymore, and just keep doing it. This will start to mess with them in the best possible way. They'll have this like, oh, okay, and they'll naturally want to talk about themselves and their issues. If you're doing it from a conscious place of knowing what you're doing, you can have fun with it. I'm not saying manipulate these family members. I'm saying change the general story of what's happening. These are the types of people that want to come in and just complain about everything. Victimhood. Oh, woe is me. Everything is all just me. My life's blah, 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 blah. That brings your energy down. It makes you go from, oh, well, I wanted to talk about this, or to low vibration. And it makes you feel bad. It makes you physically feel bad. It makes you break everything down and feel less happy. As simple as that. It really is. And we need to cut these people out of our life, because when you're on the up, you are raising your vibration, your frequency. And if you don't like those words, just think about it. We are free. We are energy in motion. When we break everything down, it's not just, hey, we're frequencies, man. We are. We are made of the stardust that is all around us. We are made of energy and matter. We are vibration. So look at it like this. If these low-level vibrational beings, for whatever reason, are bringing you down, then look at it in terms of vibration. If you're feeling happy inside and they're feeling sad inside, and you can feel them chipping away at your happiness, then decide to stay happy up here, stay positive up here, and then dip down into compassion and sympathy for them and put all the attention on them. Because right now, if they're woeing as me and they're talking about how bad everything is, then they need to. They are suffering. And the only way they can get through life is by bringing everybody else down. So it's a little action job. If you're up for it, try it out. And you might come away from the conversation thinking, oh my gosh, I just spent all that time talking about them and their problems and being there for them, and it was heavy for me because I had to listen to all this stuff. But when you come out of it, you know you've done a service, you know you've done a good deed, so you feel good, and you can shake off all of that stagnant energy from them and return to happiness. So that's tip number one, is tune in to their struggle and suffering and just act for a moment and see how it makes you feel. All right, number two, we're at work, or you're dealing with people at work. You're dealing with people in a group that you just can't get away from. They're not family, so you're not tied to them, but they are there, and they're there, and they ain't going away. So what do we do with these people? These people, you need to decide on what the relationship is. If it's going to affect your job to a point where it's going to affect your health because you're working with these toxic, repulsive people, then you might have to have the bigger conversation, which is, do I have to get out of this job? Do I have to complain about this person? Do I have to actually do something quite dramatic here? If it's not as bad as that, then cool, because then what you can do is do what I said in the first tip and decide where your boundaries are. If you're working with this person and they're not going to go away, and you have to be amicable in meetings or whatever, then just decide to give as much love as you can without coming across passive aggressive. So what I like to do, if it's someone I know that I'm just not vibing with, or they're just not getting me, and I know that, what I do is I kind of crank up the love, crank up the happiness, and I just make sure my job is done. Now, fortunately, I don't have to work with anybody anymore that I don't get on with. But what I used to do was, if there was a manager or a person I had to work with that I just really didn't like, I'd just be so nice and so kind and so appreciative, and I'd compliment them, but not in a kind of like over the top way, just real subtle and real genuine. I'd find the things I liked and appreciated about these people, and I'd mention it, and I'd let it go. And all right, I'll tell you because it's just us. But what I used to do, I haven't done it for a while because I haven't needed to, but what I used to do was, I used to find these people, I didn't used to find them, when I used to work with these people, I played a little game, and anyone that I knew didn't like me or I didn't like them, I would make it a mission to switch it. And by the end of the month, the whatever, that we'd at least be like this, or we'd have some connection. And I did it with every single person that I could. And it was great, because it went from me thinking, this is a lost cause, to wow, there is a light in that person. And it just comes down to the same thing every single time. The toxic people in your life are ultimately suffering from something, whether they know it or you know it. That's why they are the way they are. And when we know this, we can jump back into compassion and sympathy if you can get that far. If you can, it makes life loads easier, because you realize they're just projecting their pain onto you because you're there in front of them. Oh, look, another human. Whoa, my pain. You're like, oh, no. Oh my God, okay. I love you as a person, because you're a human being, and I know you're going through something. You don't have to say this stuff. Just think it in your head when they're talking at you. They're giving you all this stuff, and you're like, oh, I love you. Poor you must be really struggling. Oh, I'll give you a mental hug. You know, there you go. Oh yeah, I'll get that job done for you. Oh God, I can't believe he's talking to me like that. What? No, I'm not going to play the same game as him. I'm going to love. All about the love. I'm telling you, crank up the love, especially when you're in this feeling of hate for someone. Okay, number 3 is friends. Family, work, friends. Here we go, the big one. What we need to do with friends is really decide on if this person is serving you or not. And I don't mean like a master and a servant. I mean like, are they helping you grow? Are they helping you become who you want to be? Are they this sort of person that you could go, hey, I'm doing this thing, and they go, oh, that's amazing, and they mean it, or they go, oh, yeah, great, well, blah, 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 and you're like, oh, I just wanted just a little moment there, just to kind of, what I like to do is this. I don't tell no one nothing. I unless they ask. And what I do is I put the attention on them. And if it's an old mate, we have a normal conversation. It's naturally back and forth. And, you know, we all want to talk about ourselves at some point. Maybe that's why I do this YouTube channel, I don't know. But it naturally comes up. The things that you want to talk about will naturally come up with the right people. And that's when it's so much better. If you're calling people and just telling them all about yourself, maybe you're one of these people. Maybe you're one of these people that I don't want to be talking to. Maybe you're one of these people. So we've got to look at it, you know, I like to say, if there's a rock in your life, if that person is a rock and every time you call them you're left feeling, like you're hitting the water against the rock, instead of trying to go around the rock and flow, it's a constant battle. You know, maybe they're really passive aggressive, or they try and argue with everything you say, or pick you apart, or throw you under the bus, or talk about you behind your back, or just live in gossip and cut them out. Decide to cut these people out, and decide if they need to just be cut out of your life just for now, or, you know, or for good. And it's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's difficult, but it's fine. And it's just really helpful and healing for you in your journey, because when you're doing what you want to do, when you're focusing on the thing that you need to focus on, whether you're quitting the bad food or the booze, or you've changed your job to do something more in line with what you want to do, or you're seeing someone that you really like but other people don't like them maybe, or you're trying something new, or you change your appearance and you love it, and other people are like, oh my god, and you're like, oh no. Maybe there's a secret talent you want to do and someone's like, oh, you can't do that, who do you think you are to do that? And you're like, oh, maybe I'm not. All these people, and look, you don't have to cut them out for good, but just start putting a bit of a buffer there, a bit of a, what would the word be, a buffer? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with buffer. Put something there. What that looks like is this. You either block them and just delete them and just go, that's it, they are out. If they're grade A, done. Actually, no, I won't do that. It's really, forget that. That's the rewind. Done, out, gone, move on. Next level is like, okay, I don't want to be texting these people because I say the wrong thing, or maybe you get drunk and you text them, you don't want to be texting them. Next to their name, write, don't text, then their name. Go through all the people on your list that you don't want to be texting and write don't text. So every time you go to it, you see their name. That was a trick I got from my sister when we were growing up, when she didn't want to call the ex-boyfriends. I thought it was a real neat trick. So that's a great one. And then the next one, which is great, is decide who these big rocks are in your life and decide on what the story is that you want to happen. So if this person is constantly coming at you and annoying you and pulling you down, then decide what you're going to do about it, whether you're going to block them, whether you're going to tell them and say, hey, I'm just trying to do this thing, I feel like you saying this, and you know, say what you need to say, get it out there. You know, don't just kind of show up and listen to these people all the time. Maybe you can say, hey, you're going through something, because we can talk about it, and flip it round and then see if there's actually something underneath there. Maybe there is, maybe it's a deeper thing and they're actually trying to reach out. So the story that you play in your head over and over again of these people that have frustrated you and annoyed you, it pops up like that, doesn't it? Like bubbles, like, oh, there's that person again, and that story just going round and round and round. You know, you might be washing up and then, oh, they're there. And you play the story of what happened last time, round and round and round. Decide to change that story. Think of the people that cause you stress, frustration, and pain, and play a positive story about them. In your head, tell yourself that you love these people. You love them, you respect them. And see if anything changes in your environment. See if the conversations change. Again, if these people need to go, chop, 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 chop. Absolutely. But don't let the debris of these conversations that pull you down stay up here. Delete, 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 delete. And you can do that just by deciding to play the better story. Oh, a good memory of them. Stuff like that. Okay, so here's the final summary of this. I've had a little think. I've had a little think how we can really wrap this up into one thing. I just want to give you a little story. My old band, I might have told you this, my old band, we worked really hard. We were kind of like clutching at straws while the band was kind of slowly dissolving, and we had this kind of last single that we were putting out. We made this video, really proud of it, and put it out there, and I was like, yeah, cool, I like that. And I saw the YouTube comment pop up, and it was one comment, and it said, someone should shoot the singer. That's me. I was a singer. And I was triggered, like you would be. One comment, and you go and look at it, and it's that, you know, on release day. And it triggered me inside, and it got me. It was like, that's what it felt like. And I grabbed it and I looked at it, and I was probably like that, fuming probably for a second. And because I practice this stuff, when I feel the anger and the frustration, I tune into it, and before I react, most of the time, I see what this thing is. What is this that's stuck to me, that's stuck here, that feels like a grip? And I grab it and I look at it and I'm like, what are you? Oh, you're someone on the internet that I don't know, that I'll probably never ever meet, most likely. And they've heard a song that I wrote and they didn't like it. So they told me about it. And that could have been a domino effect into the downward spiral of doom, you know, for most people. But when you practice this stuff, it's like a muscle. It gets quicker and quicker and quicker. So these grips that have you like this, these toxic people, these things that they say that replay over and over and over again, the more you practice tuning in and seeing what it is and practicing this thing like compassion and sympathy and completely changing your frustration, anger to compassion and sympathy, which is my favorite thing to do, A, it happens less and less and less. And B, you get quicker at it. You get lightning reflexes. So, what the hell? Oh, you poor person. You poor, sad person that's obviously suffering enough to get on the computer and tell me, someone that they don't know, that they think someone should shoot the singer. And then you find the comedy. And not the comedy at laughing at these people, but the comedy at the, you know, these people are going through life just giving out crap. And it's so sad. It's so sad. These toxic people, it's so sad that they're living this way when you know such a better way of life, which is love. And so if you can teach the love by giving love where you can, and just expressing it and emitting it, then awesome. If you can't quite do that, totally understand. Cut them out, but quickly remember that these people are suffering. They're, you know, they weren't raised right if you're saying stuff like that on the internet. That's not nice. That's not a very nice thing to say to someone that you've never met. It's not a nice thing to say to someone anyway, but someone you've never met. it's not my kind of person. So really think about what the words are, what they've said. If it really sticks to you, can you let that story go? It was in the past, it's done. It was, you know, something that a low vibrational being in the moment said, and it stuck to you. Can you let it go? Can you dissolve that within you? And the last thing I'll say, which is the best thing you could ever do when you're really suffering from people's hurtful words, is tune inwards and say, I love you, thank you, over and over and over and over and over again, on that feeling, on that memory, on that trauma, on that emotion. When you feel the grip, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you. What are you saying I love you for? Just, why not? You're saying I love you to yourself from yourself. You're saying thank you to yourself from yourself. Thank you for getting through this experience. Thank you for not allowing that person to take over my day. I love you, you're a good person, you're a nice person. You don't need to deal with this kind of crap. So wrap all that together. Take a look at your life, look at your friend circle, look at your family, look at your work, and decide who needs a bit of this, who needs just to be given just love, where can you offer a bit of advice if needed, and go through life with a whole new way of looking at things. All from here. Sorry, that was a long one, but it's really important. So let us know down below how it went for you. Share any stories. Like the video, share the video, like the video, share the video, share the video, and all that jazz. And I'll see you on the next one. Don't be late.